Am I the asshole for not telling a high school friend of my dad's I ran into that he died? This is a short one. Basically, I went to pick a prescription, and the pharmacist almost immediately asked me if I was my dad's kid. I don't think we've met before. Me and my dad just really look alike. And so, of course, I was like, yeah. And then she asked a bunch of questions about what he was up to these days and talked about how they used to be friends in high school. For some reason, I just made stuff up instead of being like, well, actually, he died a few years ago because 1, I was truly the sickest I've ever been in my life at the time. Strep and mono thumbs down. And 2, me and my dad had a really complicated relationship, so the whole sorry for your loss ritual doesn't feel fitting, and it was like 8 a.m., so just overall I was in a weird mood, and I didn't want to deal that. And so she was like, tell him, her name, says hi, and I was like, I will, and I assumed that would be the end of that. But then today I see that she has message requested me on Facebook, basically saying that I really ruined her day by lying, because she went to find him to reach out and found out he was dead, and how I should never do that to anyone again because it was cruel. Which, like, I do feel bad, and she's maybe right, but also I've never heard about or met this lady in my whole life, so clearly they weren't all that close. Loudly crying face, so I think for her to say I ruined her day was a little dramatic. I don't know. Too long did not read. A high school friend of my dead dad told me to say to him for her, and I said I would. She later DM'd me on Facebook, saying me lying about doing that ruined her day. AITA? Should I apologize? Message her back and pretend you didn't know he died. You are the asshole. Seriously. Why would you do that? I don't want to talk about him. Rather than lying. Because lying is always the asshole move. Everyone sucks here. It's weird that you lied. You could have just said, thanks for the sympathy. I'm in a hurry. Can I please have my RX and be on your way? But she should not have messaged you like that. Weird. Would I be the asshole if I didn't make the pie that got the most votes because it wasn't on the poll in the first place? I put a poll in my workplace for Pi Day. For anyone that doesn't know, Pi Day is March 14th because 3.14 is the first 3 digits of pi, so you eat pie that day. I'm the baker of the office. I think everyone in my office is aware. We're 24/7. The night people may not know. I put the poll up to see what kind of pie the office wanted for Pi Day. Nobody asked me to. I just did. The poll had 13 different pies. And still someone added 2 more types of pie on there. People will be disappointed if I don't bring one of the pies that was added, because it now has the most votes. My name's not on the poll, but I told people I was putting it up. Would I be the asshole if I ignored the added pie option and made the pie that got the most votes that was originally on the poll? TBH, I'm more upset about the principle than having to make the pie. If I saw a poll like this, I wouldn't add another option because I didn't like the others. I would just not vote and not eat the pie, because it's not my money or time being spent to make it. What if that option is more expensive? Or what if the fruit is out of season? Now I have to find a good recipe for a pie that I wasn't planning on having as an option. What were the 2 flavors that were added? You are not obliged to make a pie. Not the asshole. You provided options that you were willing to make. The list was your boundary. They went outside those options. You now don't have to make anything, enforcing your boundary. The winning pie is not available from you. Am I the asshole for wanting to get my kids assessed for autism because they're so similar to our nanny, who has autism? My husband and I have 2 kids, 3 female and 6 male. We have a nanny, Anna. Anna picks my daughter up from preschool at 12 and stays with the kids until 6. My kids can be difficult. My daughter only eats 4 meals. My son has the attention span of a squirrel and refused to brush his teeth until very recently. They both refuse to take their dishes to the sink or carry them from the counter to the table. I've talked to their teachers and pediatrician about their behaviors, and I am always told that they'll grow out of it. It's a toddler thing, it's a boy thing, etc., but it just drives me crazy. Anna has autism and tends to see things differently than I do, so I asked for her help with these issues. The first thing she told me was that every plate and bowl in our house feels weird in her hands. I got new plates and bowls, and suddenly we didn't have an issue with them taking their dishes from the counter to the table and table to the sink. Then she switched my son's toothbrush out from the electric one the dentist recommended to this softer than soft one, and got my son his own toothpaste. We went from my son needing to be held down so we could brush his teeth to him willingly doing it after being reminded 5 times. Annoying but still manageable. My daughter now wears more than the same 3 outfits. They both have visual planners in their rooms and a strict routine to follow, and tantrums are down. If everything Anna changed helping the kids isn't enough, both of my kids are so similar to Anna in different ways. I've been thinking lately that if all of Anna's fixes are working, and if they're so similar to her personality-wise, maybe they're also on the spectrum. Anna didn't get diagnosed until last year, and says no teacher or doctor ever said anything, so it's very possible that they might have something that isn't being detected. I told my husband that I want to get the kids assessed because I see so much of Anna in them, but he's refusing because the kids being similar to their disabled nanny doesn't mean they're disabled, especially if every person we've talked to says their issues are normal for their ages. I still want to get them assessed just in case, but he shuts it down every time I bring it up. My mom agrees that I shouldn't be getting them assessed just because they're similar to their nanny, and that she could just be rubbing off on them. I told her that her rubbing off on them is her getting my son addicted to cheese, not the kids having sensory issues, even if they don't know what sensory issues are and can't voice it. She says me insisting that there could be something wrong is probably why they're acting like something's wrong. Now I'm wondering if I'm wrong for trying to get them assessed, and if pushing this too hard is why we're struggling. My father didn't want to have me tested as a child because he didn't want to have an autistic child. Yes, if you don't test for it, it doesn't exist type of logic. Please, please, please have your child tested if you have a shred of concern. Not the asshole. Get a pediatrician who takes your concerns seriously. Early intervention helps. Your husband's head in the sand attitude will harm the kids in the long run. Am I the asshole for refusing to write a poem about my wife? I, 33 male, write poems for fun. I don't publish them or share them with anyone. I just have a little black notebook full of poems that I write in the morning with my coffee, which I then leave in my desk drawer. It's sort of a mindfulness practice I do instead of reading the news on my phone. Anyway, so my wife, 30 female, got curious the other day and went through my little black notebook without my permission. Maybe 100 poems. And she got angry with me because none of the poems are about her. She told me that she expected at least one of the poems to be about her, and went off on this tangent about how she doesn't even know if I love her if I didn't write a poem about her, but I wrote a poem about our cat, the tree in our front yard, etc. I tried to tell her that it wasn't like that, and so she demanded that I write a love poem about her. I told her I wasn't going to write a love poem about her unless I feel inspired. I would just be pumping something out of a sense of obligation, and it wouldn't be a real love poem. Anyway, she's been sulky and quiet for a few days, and I guess I'm starting to feel guilty, and maybe I should just sit down and crap out some poem comparing her to a rose. It just feels dishonest. Am I being too precious? Am I the asshole for refusing to write a love poem for my wife? Yeah, I mean it sounds like a silly little thing, but you're straight up telling her that the way you feel about her is not enough to inspire one poem from you, even when she specifically requests one. Your wife. Edited to add you are the asshole. Hello fellow fun poem writer. Me too. Question for you. Are any of the poems about people, or all objects or animals? Roses are red. Violets are blue. My wife is a snoop, and I don't know what to do. Not the asshole.